And we're rolling. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for having me on your show, bro.
No, thank you. It was we had a pretty fast connection today, and we were able to make it work for this evening.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny how things work, right? You join a Facebook group and then magic
Yeah,
happens.
I know. Like, you know what? The amount of people that have messaged me from last night even to now, it's like my phone is still blowing up. I love it.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good. How long you been doing this?
Well, I started out doing a fly fishing podcast before, and I just kind of put the damper on it, and now so I've been doing that for I was doing that for about 3 years now. I
Hmm.
just started this one just before Christmas. I was putting some feelers out there, and you wouldn't believe how hard it is to actually find a guest. You know what I mean? When you're reaching out to people through emails and
Yeah,
Instagrams and everything.
absolutely. I run a podcast myself called the Best Damn Wrestling Podcast, and a lot of my guests are wrestlers, but we kind of get entertainers. We get entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, things like that. So I can understand how hard it is, man.
Oh yeah,
Especially
well you know what I'm talking about then.
yeah, especially trying to get with someone's schedule and make it work with your schedule. And it's like, okay, I'm good for the show, and then they hit you with the day of, like, I'm not good for the show. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man,
I'm
so I
not
gotta
good
change
anymore.
things around.
No, well for me it's the time change, right? Like it's
Hmm.
not so bad. 'Cause, like we're from New York, right?
Yeah, well, I'm in North Carolina.
Okay. I thought from. I don't know why I thought New York.
I'm originally from New York. I was born in New
Oh,
York.
that's why then. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's why. So right, are you by Madison? Were you by Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times actually, but I grew up in Brooklyn.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself then, and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Okay. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, as I just said. Grew up there for half of my life, and then moved to North Carolina in high school. Um, Lived here for a while with my mom, my siblings. I'm the oldest of four actually. One passed several years ago. Um, so there's four of us on my mother's side, 11 of us on my father's side. But I'm the only child of my mother and my father, so I have to
Oh, okay.
acknowledge I'm the only child. um, got into professional wrestling in around 2009 and been doing it for 15 years now. I've been doing it ever since. I've been all over the world with it. I've been to Germany, I've been to Canada, been all over the US. Done some acting, I've done some modeling, I've been International Model of the Year, I've been in several magazines, I'm a military veteran. Man, anything you can think of, I've probably done it.
Nice. Now, when you say you're a military veteran, what branch of the military?
I was in the Army, the United States Army.
Oh, okay, nice. How long were you in there for?
I was there for 2 years.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So, so you left the military, and I'm assuming you pursued wrestling.
So I graduated high school, went to the military right after high school. 2 years into it, I got medically discharged, and then was trying to find myself in terms of what it is I wanted to do. So left the military in 2002. A couple years went by. Had a daughter. She's 19 now. She's in college, first year of college.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I just kind of, trying to just do some jobs here and there, and ran into a wrestling show locally, and was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. I'd love to get involved with it. Did not get involved with it because the guy was charging like, I think it was like $3,000 for the school, and I did
Ooh.
not have that.
Yeah.
So when I left North Carolina, went back to New York around 2000, late 2008. I went back up there to pursue my modeling, my acting a little bit further, and I was boxing at the time. And
Okay.
the agency that I worked for, the modeling acting agency, there was a manager there who was a professional wrestler. And at the time, I was boxing, so and she introduced me to a guy who could help me get some fights. I had one fight in the Golden Gloves tournament in New York. Um, and I did really, really well in it, but I lost by a point. And the manager from the acting agency, she was like, "Hey, when's your next fight?" And I don't know. The guys, it's hard to get a fight. It's hard to get booked in a fight. So she was like, "Well, you want to try professional wrestling?" So I said, "Absolutely, I'll give it a try." and her name was Lady Lee, and she took me over to New Jersey, which is about like an hour and two away from where we lived. And I started training out there, and have not looked back ever since, man. I mean, it's like a life changing moment every time I step in the ring for myself and the fans. Every time I go out there.
Nice. So, how hard was it or difficult was it to break into the business?
So breaking in terms of training was not very hard. You know, just went out there and just, learned the ropes per se. You know, learning how to take a bump, I learned how to throw punches and selling to the audience. Finding shows was pretty hard because it's
Okay.
independent wrestling, and I did not know exactly who to contact and how to go about getting shows. My trainer, she took me to a couple of shows in New Jersey, and as soon as I left there and came back to North Carolina to be closer to my daughter, um, I didn't know who or what was around in North Carolina besides the one
Mhm.
show that I saw years prior. And I met a guy who was doing a movie called 30 to 35. His name was Sean Dudley. we became best friends, and rest his peace, Sean. Um, I met him and I got casted in his movie. And he actually had a friend who knew a promoter that did professional wrestling shows. So he got to talking to him because he found out that I was into the professional wrestling, and his friend introduced me to a guy named Grog out here in Raleigh, North Carolina, who runs Gouge Pro Wrestling. And Grog gave me my first show, and then the guys that I wrestled against was very impressed by my ability, and they introduced me to some other guys who was doing another show, and it just kept progressing from there, just meeting people, making connections, saying, hey, where you wrestling at? Who can I contact to get on that show? And it's kept pushing forward. So it was hard at first because you didn't know who was who, but once I found out who I can actually talk to and connect with, it was it was on from there.
Now, did you work in between as because you see things on YouTube and the internet like people breaking into the business and even professional wrestlers when they first like went up like the WWE guys and they say back in the day like it was the road life was hard when you're first on the independent thing like what was that like for you like did you work like have another job or were you strictly wrestling?
Oh, I had another job, and I still have another job to this day. I'm working hard trying to make it just my sole career, but we live in a world where you got to have multiple incomes.
Mhm.
Well, I did work a couple jobs. I was thinking at the time I was working security and I was working at a gas station, so I had two jobs at the time. Um,
Wow.
and then traveling along the roads every weekend, going to different cities, different states, um, just making sure I can get to a couple of shows and get my name out there. It was kind of difficult because a lot of these companies, they have their set number of people and their main roster is what they call them, of
And not
guys and
only that,
girls.
like you take a bump like that. I know, like I've never actually been in a wrestling ring, but I've seen them being made and know
Mhm.
how hard they look and everything. Like you take a bump and then whatever, I have a match 20, 30 minutes and then you got to go to work the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
imagine
I'm good.
Imagine traveling 4 or 5 hours away from home, going to
And
do a
even the
show.
travel on top of that.
Yeah, yeah, doing the show, and the show starts at 7. Let's say I'm the main event, so I'm the last match of the night. So I don't go until about 9 o'clock. And then being done and getting paid and getting cleaned up and getting back on the road around 10, 11 o'clock and driving all the way back home just to be back up at 5 o'clock the next morning to go to work.
How did you sleep? Because to me, I think I'd be amped up, like in front of the crowd and everything. Then you come backstage and it's over, and it's how do you come down from that, like, and try to get some sleep? And
So
not counting the drive and everything, but
sometimes, well, most times, what my secret is cookies and milk. I give you some cookies and milk before I go to bed, and I'm fine. I'm like a big kid. I just drink my milk and go to bed, and wake up the next morning and ready to go.
and, it's not an easy life neither, because even the independent guys, like you said, you had to travel, you had to work two jobs, plus you probably had to go to the gym and train to stay in shape to be able to go 15, 20, 30 minutes, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of times, like you may have a match, like you used to say, have 15, 20 minutes. And then you're prepared for a 15 to 20 minute match. And then in the middle of your match, you're told that now you have to go 10 or now you have to go 7. They want you to cut down the time and hurry up. So now you got to figure out in your brain how to process, okay, this is what I need to do to get to the finish and make sure that the promoter's happy. And then on the
Yep.
reverse side, let's say you're told you go out there to do a 6 minute match and your mind's prepared and your body's prepared for a 6 minute match. And then halfway through it, they say, okay, we need you to go 10 minutes. Now you got to figure out a way to add more onto your match for
More
another
onto
4 or
the
5
time.
minutes and
Yeah.
find the energy to do it. So, it can get pretty crazy.
So how was the wear and tear on your body? Because like I said, you work, you travel, you go to the gym. You go to the arena. From the arena, you probably have to go to the gym the next day. How did your body condition for that?
Uh, so for me, and a lot of the guys they attest to this, and they pick on me all the time. It's like I'm not human, almost. They look at me because I wrestle in a regular business suit. Like I have a nice dress suit that I put on. I don't wear wrestling gear, and the
Okay.
guys like, how do you get in a ring and wrestle in a suit? Don't sweat, don't get tired, don't get dirty, and then go home like it's no problem, and then get up the next day and just go about your business.
Yeah,
And it
how
was
do you
like,
do that?
yeah, and a lot of them tell me like I'm Superman or something. And so most of the guys that we're pretty good, like we're pretty conditioned, and it's all based on repetition, just having your body continuously doing something for over a certain amount of time, and then it's just like second nature to you.
Okay. So how far in your wrestling career did you go with it? Like, are you still actively wrestling?
Yes, I'm still actively wrestling. I just had a show last week, actually, in Dallas, Texas. I defended one of my championships.
Okay.
And I just went to Canada this past September. I was in Germany this past June, and with plans to go into the UK this year, going back to Canada in this summer, going to
What part of
Germany.
Canada?
I went to Montreal, Laval.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went out there and had an amazing time. It was my first time in Canada and had such a good time. I've been on WWE, I've been on NXT, I've been on Ring of Honor, and I've been on AEW as well.
Nice. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that's the toughest thing about breaking into the business is getting to that level, getting to the
Mhm.
WWE because it's so competitive and it's so cutthroat and so many different talents all over the world that's trying to get there. And you have to have that it factor to say for the company to say, you know what, I need this guy on this company and I need to do something with him.
Yep.
So it's pretty tough. Like you gotta have a really strong fan base and connection and things like that. So that's the toughest thing about this.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, what made you want to start a podcast then?
So a friend of mine, his name is Brian Renegade, Brian Lattimore. He actually reached out to me and two other guys. It was like, hey man, would you guys be open to starting a podcast? And at the time, I was already doing two other podcasts with several other people with different types of themes. Like one was just a lady I was dating at the time was just about relationships and the who's and the what's and how's of a relationship, and the other one was just general conversations of different things that people go through. And Brian was like, "Hey man, let's give it a try." And when we first started, we didn't know exactly what we were going to be doing and how far we were going to go. And we're now 3 years in. We've got sponsors. We're getting ready to start a wrestling company. We've been doing a lot of different things. We got a lot of big things that are coming up pretty soon with it as well.
Nice. And once again, could you say the name of your podcast for the listeners?
Absolutely. It's the best damn wrestling podcast. We're available on all platforms, Apple Music, Siri, Alexa. Um, we're on Twitch. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're all over the place.
All over
Spotify,
the
all of
place.
it.
Man, there's so much social media out there now, and it's like you upload to one, but you have to upload them to everything because not everyone likes Facebook, not everyone likes TikTok.
Yes,
Plus,
absolutely.
I was actually reading something there just before we started the show that TikTok might be getting banned in the U.S.
Yeah, so it's up in the air right now. I think the Supreme Court is talking about it. Which and what it boils down to me to for me is it's a money grab.
Mhm.
That's really all it is. They keep talking about, oh, your information is being compromised, and I have not had any issues with that. It's a money thing. It's the fact that
Your
another country,
information's being compromised,
right?
right? You know,
Right, exactly. Like, how many times have you had a conversation with somebody about something you wanted to buy, and all of a sudden, all you see is ads on your phone,
it's right there.
right? So,
I'm
yeah, get
sure
out
when
of
we're
here
done
with
here, and I'll go on my Facebook, and it'll be like, join wrestling school.
right, exactly. But I think it's all a money grab. It's the fact that they can't tax us because we're making money from TikTok, and people are getting rich and they're getting famous, and they just need to leave it alone. I think
Absolutely.
the president elect he's talking about um not banning it because it helped him with his campaign, whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever keeps TikTok around, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Because it's been very beneficial for a lot of people. I mean, I go up there and I see people meeting celebrities that probably never been able get a chance to meet ever in their life had it
Yep.
not been for something like this. So let
That,
the people make some money, man.
that's what I said. Leave them alone. They're not hurting nothing.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
and a lot of them that do make it famous with TikTok, they give back to their community. They give back to the social community, and then donations, charity, whatever. They leave them alone.
Yeah, and
You
I
know.
think that's what's scaring. I think that's why they want to ban it because they're afraid that we are actually we're unifying.
Mhm.
And the
That's what it
scariest
is.
thing
There's no
for a
more
government,
dividing.
yeah, the scariest
Yeah,
thing for a government is for its people to unify, and that's all
absolutely. Yeah. So, so we'll leave the politics alone, I guess.
it is.
So tell me what it was like when you were wrestling in the WWE.
Oh man, it was such an experience. The very first time I went there, I did NXT, um, and I went out there and had a really nice little tag match with their current superstars at the time. It was Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker, against myself and a guy named Lars Sullivan. And man, to not only get the opportunity but be treated like I was part of the roster was amazing. And I was just somebody who just got called just to come and just do a spot, just fill a space, and that's all it is. I was casted to play a role, and
Okay.
to see to hear how people have been treated and to see something different is such an amazing experience. I mean, they gave me
I,
a promo, and I've never seen any extra guys go in and get a promo and get a match and get all these different things, and it was just like, wow, I can see myself being here. And it made me want to work a lot harder because I was like,
yeah.
I want to feel this experience all the time.
No, definitely, definitely. You know, you like you say, you hear different stories of everything. It's so much on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it's probably not even true. Yeah, you
Hmm.
know, it's just the negativity, and maybe it does exist sometimes. But because, like you said, it is a very cutthroat industry because everyone wants to get to the top, and if they can't, they want to get as close as they can to the top, right?
Right, absolutely, exactly.
Hmm. Yeah. Have you ever been to Titan Towers?
I have not. I've been by
Ah,
there. I've
okay.
driven by there, and I was on my way to a wrestling show. It was me and a group of guys who was on our way to Rhode Island, and we saw it from the highway on the way up. And we were already running late, so it was like, if only we could stop and go in
Yeah.
there and see if we can get a picture with somebody or talk to somebody or something. And so on the way back, we actually stopped on the way back, and it was already closed and no security was
Ah,
there. So we pulled
missed
up
it.
and took pictures in front of it and kept it pushing so that way we wouldn't get in trouble.
I'd love to see their gym. Like I've only ever seen like little clips of their gym inside Titan Towers, but it looks awesome. It got
Yes,
that
yes,
old school look to it, right?
absolutely. And then the performance center down in Florida looks really, really good too. I've actually been inside there and seen a couple of things. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Like you don't need nothing. Like you go there and everything's available
Everything's
to
there.
you. You wouldn't need nothing.
Yeah, did you get to talk to any big names behind stage when you were with the WWE, like
Oh,
Triple H,
yeah,
Shawn
absolutely.
Michaels?
Spoke to Triple H, spoke to Shawn Michaels. When I first went to NXT, They were the ones that came up and they spoke to the extras and came to me and said, "Okay, this is what we need from you. This is what you're going to do today." So that was like an amazing experience because I watched these guys when I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
Come up to you and like, "Hey, you doing? My name is Sean, or my name is Paul," and I'm like, "Oh wow, I know these guys' real names." Like
I
I know
watched you
you.
when I was a kid. I did, the crotch drop thing
Yeah,
and got
exactly.
attention.
Exactly. And I've met The Undertaker, I've met Kane, I've met Big Show. I've met a lot of different ones. Got a chance to talk to them. I worked with the WWE's Raw brand. I've worked on the SmackDown brand. I've worked on WrestleMania. And then sitting in the catering area and just hanging out with them and having conversations. It's like
Uh,
it's so surreal. Like the young kid in me, when I'm sitting in there, the kid
yeah,
in me is like
absolutely.
going crazy. It's like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, this is him, and it's him,
Can
and
I have
oh my
your
god."
autograph?
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm like, "Oh my god, I want to shake his hand." And like, but the adult in me and the freshman in me is like,
What's
"Oh
up?
man, how
Yeah.
you doing?" Like, cool, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the food is great. But the kid in me is like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my
Yeah. No,
god."
I listen, I'd be the same way. Like growing up, like so, coming on the end of the golden era, like Hulk Hogan was he was my idol, and then I don't know what it was. I just gravitated towards Shawn Michaels as my wrestler to be, and
Uh-huh.
even to this day, like he's my favorite. But like I remember one time I was young, I was maybe 13 anyway, 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was getting picked on a lot at school, being bullied and everything, and I was going into my grade 10 year, so I must have been 15. Yeah. So WWE came to our arena one time, and very rarely they ever came here, but Brock Lesnar was there.
Mm.
And he walked in looking at this monster, and I'm watching people walk away. Like they seen this
Yes.
guy coming, they walk away, and I'm like, right there. And it was like 2 days later, I'm like hanging and banging at the gym, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that is a big guy. Like I
Oh,
remember,
he's not human.
yeah, I
He-
remember standing in catering one day and I'm really big on like breakfast stuff. So I had not had breakfast yet, so I wanted to make me a bowl of cereal. And I remember making cereal and I turn around and he's standing right in front of me and I'll look up and I'm like, "Well, how you doing, Mr. Lesnar?" He said, "How you doing, kid?" And he shook my hand. And I felt like his hand was like a shark because it engulfs my entire hand. Like my hand was gone. And I was like, "Well, it's his now. It's his.
he-
Like if he wants it, I can't get nothing. I can't get it back."
well, no, that was like the Big Show. So I had a broken leg at the time, and when we were going out, security kind of let us go out with all the other wrestlers, which is a no-no. But
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, but like just hustle it anyway. I got to shake the Big Show's hand, and like that man shook my hand, and it was something like you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, where's my hand gone?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely, man.
But can you imagine getting hit by someone like Lesnar? I seen the UFC. There's no. I wouldn't care how much for $1 million. I wouldn't do it. No, I know. I'm good.
Like, I would give it a try. I would give it a try in a UFC aspect, um, mainly because of the money that I could make from
They can have it. No, they can have it.
Like even
No.
even Mike Tyson. Like I would get in a boxing match with Mike Tyson, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I was to get in a boxing match with no name behind me, right?
Mhm.
And let's say I got in there and I actually hit Mike Tyson. Now, granted, I'm probably gonna go to sleep immediately after,
Yeah, but
which is
what
fine.
Mike Tyson are you talking about? Like the Mike Tyson today or the Mike Tyson in his prime?
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them. Now, granted, I might go to sleep immediately after, which is fine. However, what do you think people are going to talk about most? The fact that I got knocked out or the fact that I hit him?
That's true.
Right? So
That
I
is
would get a
true.
lot of publicity for the fact that I hit him, which would make him say, "You know what? Let's do it again. This
Yeah.
time you won't hit me." Now, this is where I get to negotiate. Well, if you want to do it again, put $1 million on there. Win, lose, or draw, I make $1 million from this fight.
Well, look at the Jake Paul and the Tyson fight, right?
Oh my gosh. I was so disappointed with that. So
Absolutely.
disappointed.
I won't watch it. I will not watch any of that. Me and Jake Paul's. I will not do it.
Yeah, no, and I
No,
want to fight him. I really want to fight Jake Paul, and if I can ever find a way to
you can't.
make
You're
that
too
happen,
young.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
too
Like
young and too active and too in shape. That's it's
the
not gonna work.
one real fighter that he fought, he lost.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
like they're just. I don't know. I got nothing against them. Like, you know, hey, you made it in life, you're successful, but don't be an idiot.
right, right,
You know.
and it's for him again. A lot of these things is like money grabs, and
Yep,
he knows that
absolutely. And
he
that's what
can.
this fight was.
Yeah, that's it.
Like it was like, oh, I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that, but he got you where he wants you. He got you talking about it. He got you engaged in it. So say whether you or I, like right now we're talking about it, but I won't watch any of his fights, but someone listening to this, well, like, you know,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go check it out, and they got, you know, he's getting somebody.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
So yeah, I'm not a fan by any means.
Now his brother Logan Paul.
Hmm.
I don't. At first, when he first started with wrestling with WWE, I was like, "Come on, like you're just a YouTuber. You're just using this to make money and grab some more fans." But then after watching his progression with it and how he's taking taking it seriously in terms of the training, I was like, you
Hmm.
know what? Let me give this guy a chance. Yeah, he came in the way he came in. He got the opportunity like he got it, but he's really taking it serious.
He's earning his stripes.
Yeah, he is. He
He's
is.
earning his stripes. Like, you know what I mean? He has to take a bump. He has to do this. He has to do this. Where the other fella just gotta go hit a punching bag, do a couple jumping jacks, skip rope, run on the treadmill, and
Right.
I'll fight this guy.
And set up bum fights. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, get in the ring and fight somebody your own in your age group, even like
Hmm.
who's an actual fighter.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's in shape.
Exactly. Like that's, you know, you're fighting senior citizens basically, dude. Like, slow your roll down
Uh-huh. Yeah.
or have to lay the smack down. So, any other plans for wrestling for you? Like, do you have any other than what we were talking about? I know I probably cut you off earlier when I said what part of Canada
Oh
are
no,
you
no, you're
from?
fine.
Okay.
Yes, I plans to go to like I said, Germany this summer, Canada this summer, and we're working on a tour of Japan. I've worked with a WWE legend named Sir Mo. He's out of
Oh,
Texas.
yes, yes.
Yes, so I'm really good friends with him. He's like my uncle now.
Okay.
So he's helped me get on a lot of different places. So we're working on Japan. We're working on Italy this coming year, and I have several title matches that are coming with his company. His company is called SOAR, and it's under the OIWA banner. And so I
Now, Sir Mo, was he with Men on a Mission, Mabel,
yes,
and I? Yes.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. You know,
absolutely, yes,
yes, I remember
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yes. And he's an amazing guy. Like I love that guy. Like ever since I met him, he has been like a real person. Like he's nothing fake about him. Like he does not sugarcoat you. He does not play around. He does not try to just um tell you things that you just want to hear. Like he lets you know, like, nah, that's not gonna be good, or yeah, that's gonna be good. For a long time, for 15 years of my career, I wrestled as a character named Victor Andrews that I came up with. And, I was Mr. Everything, the guy that could get in the ring with anybody. If you want to do some mixed martial arts, I can do that. If you want to do some boxing, I can do that. You want to do some taekwondo, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I can do all that. And it worked for a very long time. Like for 15 years, it's been an amazing opportunity working as this character, Mr. Everything, Victor Andrews. And it wasn't until I was booked on Sir Mo's show, and he made a flyer and he put my real name Roosevelt on the flyer. So I contacted and say, hey, it looks good, but I wrestle as Victor Andrews. I don't wrestle under my real name.
Not
And
anymore.
he responded. He was like, be mad and cut a promo. So I did, under
Yeah.
my real name and under my own persona name, and it felt so natural and so real. Like doing Victor Andrews was always natural. It was always good for me. Like with my acting background, it was always easy. But when I did it as myself, it felt so much more real that now when I get in the ring with guys, they're completely intimidated. Like before, I was wrestling in wrestling gear, I had really nice, tights or trunks or the wrestling boots. Now I'm wrestling in a suit, and the guys is like, "Hey man, you gonna put your gear on?" I got it on. You're gonna wrestle in a suit. Yeah, and
Well,
then they don't believe it until I actually walk in the ring. They're like, "Yo, he's really gonna wrestle in the suit."
do you remember Mr. Hughes
Yes,
in the
yes. I've
WWE?
wrestled Mr. Hughes as well.
Oh yeah,
Yes, I've wrestled Mr. Hughes. Yes.
he's kind of like the same way, like a broker looking type thing, suspenders,
Yep.
just regular. That dude was badass looking.
Yep.
Like
Yep. And it, like I came up with the moniker saying, if you see me walk to the ring in a suit, just know I'm standing on business. But the moment my shirt come off, business is about to get handled. And so during the match, I'm in there and I'm wrestling and I'm doing everything. But the moment I got to turn up the intensity a little bit, I take off the shirt, I take off the tie, and then the fans they recognize, they're like, oh, it's about to get real now. Like
yeah.
this guy's
Oh
in
yeah,
trouble
they
for
know.
taking
Like
off the shirt. Like just like how back in the day, I roll up my sleeves, and now
mhm.
about to get handled. So it's been an amazing opportunity, man.
No, that's awesome, man. Like like we're talking about some of the old wrestlers and that. I remember Sir Mo one time. I don't know if it was on a Survivor Series pay per view or not. Anyway, Mabel and Oscar got eliminated, something like that. Anyway, he jumps in the ring, and I forget who it was with. I can't even remember the year, but he's like wailing on the guy, and
Yeah.
he just, and
It
he
might have been
realized he.
Giant Gonzalez.
No, it wasn't him.
No,
So,
Undertaker.
yeah, it might have been him.
Undertaker,
I think it might
probably.
have been him. I
Yeah,
think, and I think it might have been like an in your house pay per view.
yeah. More than
Yes, that's
likely.
what it probably was. Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets in and he's just.
The one that I pick on him about all the time, and is a fun pick on, is when he did the Survivor Series with Doink the Clown. You remember that one when they all dressed as Doink and had the
Yes.
makeup on and everything? I was like, and just listening to his stories about that is just, oh man, like I sit there and I'm like a little kid just listening to all the stories that he has, man. He's such an amazing guy.
Yeah. Has he ever been on your podcast?
We have been trying, but Unc has a lot of different health issues.
Gotcha.
So, whenever I contact him, he may be having a good day, he may
Mhm.
not. So, and then whenever I go down to Texas, he'd be so busy that he really never has time to really sit
Time.
down and do it. So we're working on it. We're gonna make sure we get him on there one good time and let him
Yeah.
tell his story because he deserves to tell the story.
Oh yeah, I'd love to listen to the stories, especially of that era of wrestling, right?
Yes, absolutely, man. I mean, the things that he's told us just sitting around, and we went to go eat, like we went to Germany and just hanging out in the room, and there's the stories that he's told, and it's, to see all the guys just sit around and just be like, just listening to him, like no one's
Listening to him.
interrupting, no one's playing on their phone, everyone's just checked into whatever he's talking about, man. He's such an amazing dude.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of Raw switching over to Netflix now? That's a huge move for them.
Yes, it's a huge move for professional wrestling altogether because now it's a broader range to reach out to fans, and it's something that's unprecedented. Like, who would have thought that wrestling would be on Netflix, like on a platform like Netflix,
I
and
know.
to think to have an opportunity to get there and have your face on Netflix or immortalized in that aspect. Like I have my matches from when I was up there, and I go back and I look at it on YouTube sometimes. My son he'll watch it sometimes, and but just to think of being on something like Netflix is just like mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like
It is,
coming as an
especially
actor
for.
too. Coming as from an acting aspect, it's like, okay, I want to get a movie and I want to get that bit on Netflix. I want to be in box office, movie theaters and things like that. But to know that something that I do every single week, to have an opportunity to be on something like that would be, oh man, would be crazy.
I know it kind of hits different too because being a kid, that's the USA Network. You used to come on TSN. I think it was channel 18 for us up here. Now it's like it's going to be live streamed on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's the future, I guess. Everything like I think wrestling, WWE, especially Raw, I think it's the longest running show
Episode.
on television.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what are like 35, 40 years by now?
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy number.
Yeah,
Crazy. Did you watch the night the Raw switched over to Netflix?
I sure did. I was right there. I tuned in. It was a couple of things that could have been better. You know, it could have been more wrestling involved. I wish Cody Rhodes would have had a match. That would have been good. I
Mm-hmm.
wish Gunther would have had a match. I would. You would have thought that the two top guys of your company would have been showcased in a better way, but you know, I guess they booked it the way they needed to book it. Um,
I think at the first of the show anyway, I think everything just kind of, when the Hulk Hogan thing,
oh yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Man, I didn't realize how much he's not liked.
yeah,
I mean, I know he's liked on one side, but like he's really not liked on another. Like, to boo someone that paved the way for the future, and it's like, whoa, like you, like, dude, you messed up.
yeah, and he messed up really, really bad, man. Oh, another guy that I have all kinds of respect for him, and I watched him, growing up, and he's actually watched two of my matches when I was at WWE for a short time. John Cena. I've been challenging John Cena ever since Survivor Series. When he decided that he was going to make this his last year of wrestling with WWE, and this is his farewell tour. So I've been sending out promos and videos challenging him to a match, and I'm hoping that one day soon he will see one of my promos and he will respond, and I will have a match with John Cena.
That would be amazing. You know, you look like you said you're talking about like growing up. You watch Sean and Triple H. You're getting old, but now it's like you're seeing John Cena retire too now, and it's like I'm really getting old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's finished now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like pretty soon you're gonna have someone like Randy Orton is gonna be done. Rey
Yeah,
Mysterio is probably gonna be done pretty soon. And it's like, oh man, my childhood has changed so much.
yeah, like it's going, and but I think since Triple H kind of runs the part of it, like I think they're trying to get rid of the PG era now,
Yes.
which I think they should anyway, because what made wrestling was the Attitude Era, the
Yeah.
Monday Night Wars, the outrageous,
Yeah, absolutely. I
I mean,
mean,
you don't got to go full blown back to like the Brian Pillman Stone Cold incident at the house, but
right,
you
right.
know what I mean?
And the stupid bra and panty matches, like let the
Yeah,
women wrestle, but just
yeah,
seeing the things they can do now because they're
yeah,
on a platform like Netflix is gonna be good. It's gonna be
yeah.
good for everybody.
I miss the hardcore matches. I used to love them too. The hardcore Mick Foley and Crash
Yeah.
Holly and Big Boss Man.
Well, I think they realize CTEs is so easy and it happens all the time and concussions and things like that. So I think they're more so of saying, you know what, we need our talent to be available to be able
Hmm.
to wrestle. So we're going to cut out things that's going to cause their livelihood, their careers. So I enjoyed the hardcore matches and those eras, but being in it now and actually doing it, I'm like, nah, we don't need it. I don't need to get hit in the head with a chair. Nope. I like being able to read, with
Absolutely.
stuttering
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Or even make them like a soft, like some kind of material or something where it's
well, if they do that, and then it takes it away from it because
that's true.
fans are not dumb anymore. They know what's going on, so they'll be like, "Oh, that's not even a real chair anymore." Because for a long time they used to say, "That's not a real chair. That's not a real ladder. That's not a real garbage can." And then after a while, I'm like, "Oh, so it was real."
Yeah.
Okay. And so if they were to
I
do
always
like,
knew that stuff was real. I
yeah,
like, you see Secret like years ago before the internet became a thing, like you'd watch like Beyond the Mat documentaries or some weird 15 tips pro wrestlers use that don't want the public to know about.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
always knew like chairs were real. And I mean, they say they used to saw the table in half already or so much that it would be break easier. But There's a couple times, man, I seen people get slammed through the table, and I can tell you right now, there was nothing over it. It was not sod.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've been through a couple of tables. It is not, it is not the funnest thing to do, but
Yeah.
you do it because you make the moments.
Did you watch the Vince McMahon documentary?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Well, and
I've
it's
been around him a couple of times and to hear like the allegations and things, and then he just recently put out a tweet
I
about
saw that.
yeah, and I was like, but you paid it off, so
It's good. I paid
something
it
happened.
off. Yeah.
Something happened. You got money, bro, so don't even worry about it.
I watched it, and I'm like, I just watched everything that was on YouTube. Only he's telling the story.
Yeah.
I wasted, I forget how many hours. I wasted them hours because everything that he talked about was already on YouTube years prior to this documentary.
Mm-hmm. So it's like he's not even trying to fix things. It's more so, it's going to keep covering up.
Yeah.
Put some more dirt on top of it and brush it away.
Oh, listen, I'm sure, if it all came out about him, that he'd be condemned.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
there's no other way around it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I gotta say though, him and Hogan made wrestling, but Vince took it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's just to see him take it and then put it to the PG era, and it's like, come on, man. You know what made you?
Right.
Why do this?
Right. And I think he was more so thinking like family oriented, but having Triple H in charge and listening to the fans, listening to the talent, and just trying things. It's like taking a noodle on the wall, throwing it
Mhm.
on the wall, see if it sticks. If it sticks, good. If it doesn't, all right, throw it back in the pot and see what happens.
Now, did you ever see the Hell in the Cell cage? Have you ever been around it at all?
I have not been around it, but I did see like the videos of it. I've been in cage matches, but not like a Hell in a Cell type.
I'm just wondering because, we were talking about Mick Foley there a few minutes ago. Like, remember when the first Hell in the Cell with Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker, and Shawn
Yes.
was kind of hanging off the edge of the cage, and he went to the table, but Mick
Yeah.
topped it because Mick went right off the top of the cage.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I would love just to stand on top of that thing just to see, like, this is how far this guy went flying.
Man, listen. It, just thinking of it just makes your body curl. It's like, oh man, like you
Just
really fell off the top of that and to the floor, like no
yeah,
padding or nothing. You went to straight floor. That's
and
crazy.
then he went through. Then he went through the top of it, and
Yeah,
that wasn't even planned. that, that
yeah.
that wasn't even planned.
It's crazy, and then to say I'm getting back up and I'm going back up there. Like, what are you going back up there for? What did you lose up there
Like,
that you need to go right back up there?
yeah, to just finish the match, dude. You have nothing left to prove. Like,
Nothing
you
to prove.
stole the show for the next 5 years, I think.
Yes, yes. Like
Well,
every
even to
Hell in
this
a
day, so
Cell.
longer than 5 years.
Yeah, and every Hell in a Cell has to have found a way to meet that bar because no one
Mhm.
can top it.
No,
No Hell in a Cell match can ever top it. You can at least you can get there and meeting like okay that was you know right about the level that mankind set it. But now,
remember when Rakishi got choke slammed off of it?
yes,
Remember, he slammed in the back of the truck.
yes, that
That
was
had to have messed him up too, though. Like,
yeah, yeah. Because we're taught we're trained how to take bumps and falls, but you can't manipulate gravity but so much, and especially with
mhm.
somebody that size. Like Rikishi was like 350, 400 pounds.
Yeah,
You
yeah, he was a big
can't
dude.
you can't manipulate gravity but so much, and like we're taught to tuck your chin in when you're taking the bumps, but you're falling.
Yeah,
Like you have no sense. Like you're falling backwards. You have no sense of time.
no,
You're
you're
falling, so
you're you
you
know
don't
you're
know
falling. It's
the right
just,
time to tuck your chin so you don't bang your head into the floor or anything. Like, nah, I'm good.
how difficult is it to learn that though? Like, 'cause I know you just don't get in the ring and okay, do it like this. Like, how
Um,
difficult?
it was not too bad, but for me, because I was a boxer first, and you're told
Okay.
never to fall on your back or get knocked down. So
Yep.
to learn to tell my body, just fall backwards, you'll be fine. Took a little time, but not too much time. And I've seen people, like, I've trained some guys, and they're like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, your body is naturally taught. I mean, it's natural for your body to defend itself. So to say I'm going to fall backwards and not try to put your hands down and try to break your fall,
Hmm.
it's been hard for a lot of people. But after a while, like, you kind of get a sense of it. It's like telling your brain that your body can handle it. That's what I always tell people. It's like an ultra instinct. Just allowing your body to do it without forcing it,
Okay, got you.
and knowing that your body's going to be okay.
So, what was for you? What was the most difficult move or maneuver to learn?
Uh, Nothing actually. Like,
Okay.
after I really just got started with training, I kind of just started picking up on a lot of different things, and a lot of it is kind of like on the road type thing. Like, a lot of it you can't do in training. Like, um, I used to want to do, like, the Undertaker was my favorite, so I always wanted to
Mhm.
do his dive over the top rope. And
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
we had like a
That's
big
epic.
crash pad on the outside of the ring when I first started training, and I asked my trainer, like, "Can I give it a try?" She's like, "Can you do it?" I was like, "I don't know. I'll at least try." And
Yeah.
she said, "Listen, if you do it, you got to commit to it. Like, you cannot, stutter step. You can't miss a cue or nothing. Like, if you're gonna jump over, you need to make sure that you clear it, because if you don't, and you cast that rope, no one is there to catch you. No
Mhm.
one's there to break your fall. If you hit that rope and you hit the end of that ring, you're going to hurt yourself."
Yeah.
And it's like, again, you have to tell your brain that your body can handle it, that you can do it. And I just went and just did it. And the first time I did it, I almost scorpion myself. Like, I landed on the pad with my legs with head over heels. And I
Oh,
was like, okay, that don't feel good, but that was awesome. It was so
it was
great. I
awesome.
jumped over the rope. Like, it was amazing. And I went and did it again. And after I did it the second time, I knew how to kind of flat myself out and just fall straight down.
Okay.
And I did that for years until, I don't know if you can see it, until this happened.
Uh, I see it. What,
Um,
ha- what happened there?
so I had a match, and with me and the guy, it was right in the beginning of the match, and I knocked him out over the top rope on the outside. And I told him, I said, "Stay where you are. Do not come closer or do not move back. Wherever you are, stay there. Because when
Yeah.
I do this dive, I will get to you. No matter how far you are, no matter how close you are, I will get there." And so we doing a thing, and I knocked him over the top rope, and I ran, and I jumped over the top rope. And as I'm going, I'm like, he's right here, I'm right here, literally. And he thought I was going to keep going and go over him.
No, no.
So he steps back. And as soon as he did, my body just went like this and went kamikaze head first. Boom, right into the concrete. And I was so mad. Like, it wasn't the fact that I was bleeding everywhere. Like, I didn't even care about that. It was the fact that I told him,
Don't
"Don't
move.
move," and he did anyway.
Yeah.
And I had my son with me. So my son, he used to walk me to the ring. He was my little manager, and I had him with me. And soon it happened, I immediately felt the blood coming. Like, it was just going. The referee came out. He was like, "Hey, man, you okay?" I said, "No, you need to call, put up the X, let them know I'm hurt." And but the owner of the company, he came out. He was like, "Hey, man," he thought I was faking. He was like, "Hey, man, what you out there doing?" I said, "Man, it's over. Like, I can't do it anymore." He said, "Why?" I said, "You don't see all this blood?" He's like, everybody's freaking out. "Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Call the ambulance! Call the military! Like, oh my god, he's hurt!" And I'm like, "Yo, calm down. Everybody, calm down. I'm calm. We don't need the fans to get all, riled up and scared. My son is here. We don't need him getting scared. So let's go to the back. Let's make sure I'm okay."
Yeah.
He gets to the back, and there's no doctors around. There's nothing. And I told him, I said, "Just go get me a towel. Go get me some ice. Bring me some Gatorade." I said, "Why? What do you need?" I said, "Just Just bring it to me. So they brought the ice. I put the ice and I put it around because I got a knot immediately. So I put it around to kind of, control the swelling. And I took the towel to control the bleeding. I took the Gatorade because when you lose blood, you're losing electrolytes. So to keep from passing out, I started drinking the Gatorade. You never want to drink water. Water's going to make you pass out. So I drank the Gatorade. Drank the Gatorade, sat there for a while, did a concussion test on myself because nobody knew how to do it. So I did a concussion test on myself, made sure I was okay, got my money, got my stuff packed up, got in the car, and I said, all right, I'm going home. And it was like, no, you can't drive. Somebody will take you. I said, no one can take me home. I live 2 hours away.
Yeah.
2 hours away. Who is going to bring my car?
I know, the fellow that messed up the move.
Right? And so I left. I went to a local EMS station. I got a gauze. I put the gauze on my head. I drove home. Got fussed at by my son's mother. Got fussed at by my mother. And 5 days later, it closed up. I was fine. No issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, so do you keep in contact with this guy that?
Yes.
Or
I've
okay.
actually wrestled him again, but we did not do that diving spot ever again. No.
Yeah.
It takes
You know,
once. It takes
to
once
me,
for you to miss, and then that's it.
and that's it. It's like, to me, watching it over the years and understanding it more, communication is key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like,
Communication is key.
if I tell you, this is what I need you to do, just do exactly what I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Don't deviate from the plan because mistakes happen.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so like when you guys are going over your match, like, do you actually get in the ring, just kind of not fool around, but just kind of
Well,
practice your stance, where you're going to be, the bumps, and
yeah, kind of walk through. Especially if I show up to a new show and I've never been to, a new company, I like to go in there and I walk the ring just to see like if there's any holes, if there's any missing padding, a board maybe up, something like that. Just kind of make sure it's safe to
well, it
do
makes
the
sense
things you
because
want to
every
do.
company is
It's different,
unique and different,
right?
right?
And
What you
you
did
want
at
to make
Company
sure,
X might not be the same at Company B.
right? And you want to make sure that you can perform everything that you want to do safely. Um, and we kind of walk through different things that we may want to do. Sometimes I may show up to a show and I want to test the guy's ability, so I'll tell him we're going to walk and talk the entire thing. Like, I won't even tell him what we're going to do beforehand. Just listen to
How
me out there.
difficult is that?
It is not
Like,
hard. It is not hard.
okay,
A lot of people make it hard because they don't know how to fight.
okay,
And that's what I always say. Like, a lot of my biggest issue with a lot of professional wrestlers is that they don't know how to fight. So you think we get in there, and as long as you're listening to me and we're not doing anything crazy, the main thing for me is listening to the crowd. We can go in the back and we can talk over and master things that we want to do. And I want to do this and I want to do that. But when we get out there and we start performing, and then the fans are like, whatever, then we're just performing for ourselves. We're not performing for them.
yeah.
So if you go out there and you kind of do some things, and let's see how long it takes for them to react to this. Let's see how they react to this. Let's see how big they would go if we did this. Let's see how much emotion we can get out of them. It's always emotion over emotion, right? You never want to say, "Oh, I want to go out there and do this and this and this."
Mm.
You're not drawing the emotion from the fans. You're just doing it for no reason. You're just banging your body up, and you don't have to. I've wrestled a match where I wrestled George South, very famous. He's been all over WWF, wrestled millions of matches with Ric Flair, and we went in there, and all we did was work a wrist lock in a headlock, and the fans ate up every single thing that we did from the moment we locked up to the moment I pinned them for the 1, 2, 3, because we made it make sense. We made the emotions of it. It made the fans get invested in everything that we're doing, from the selling to how I worked the hold, to how he worked the hold, to our strikes, everything. And the fans were so invested in it. Like, I've had matches where people come up to me crying because they were so emotionally involved. And that's
Wow.
the goal. It's like to go out there and perform so well that you can forget about your day. You can forget about the bills that you have to pay. You can forget about the bad news you just got from somebody. Like you're there and you're checked out from the rest of the world, and you're
living in the moment.
doing, and it's such an amazing feeling.
But how do you get away with doing it, like talking to one another in the ring while you have a live crowd there? Like say I was going to send you off the rope and I'm going to hit you with a clothesline. How do you prepare to say that to the person?
So the fans have gotten so smart now. They look for us to do it on the ropes. You know how you push a guy into the rope and you go,
Yeah.
I want to do this. Well, they got so used to that I've done it in transition. So if I back in the rope and I go to shoot you off, I'm telling you as I'm shooting you off. So that way,
So
when I
you're using
do
your
it,
body language.
yes, and I'm telling you,
Okay.
but I'm telling you what's coming next. So as soon as you walk by, I'll say, watch the clothesline, right in the mix of it. And that way you can hear me and I can do it, but the fans will never know that I've actually said it. And back in the day, they had what was called Carney language. It's yeah, watch the clothesline, and, you shoot off, and I would know exactly what's going on. Guys like Barbarian, Abdul the Butcher, Papa Shango, who had a specific character where all they did was this gibberish the entire time.
But he's saying key words
They're
though, because
saying words in the middle of it, and you never catch on to it because
that's all he's saying is gibberish
the whole time. So all you think is that they're doing their language. I had a match. It was a tag match. It was me and a guy that I had been training against C.W. Anderson, who was my trainer, and a guy named Preston Quinn. And the guy's character was like an Indian barbarian Amazonian type guy. Like he was just he didn't speak English. So to help him in the match, just in case he got lost or anything, I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna come up with a language for us that makes people say he's controlling him. I'm controlling him with this language. And I don't know if you remember the Wu-Tang Clan. Excuse me.
Yep.
Wu-Tang Clan. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing that in the match. And so when I told him backstage, I said, whenever I start saying certain things, you'll know this is the move you need to do. So I was like, shimmy, 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 shimmy. So he knew to take the head, slam it into the mat. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. And I was kept doing it. And only one fan caught on to what I was actually saying. Like Wu-Tang Clan, shimmy, shimmy, y'all. And that's all he knew. But no one knew that I was actually communicating with the guy and letting him know this is what you need to do. This is where we at. So it's just those little small tidbit things that make it, make a difference.
Yeah. So let's talk before we take off here. Let's talk a little bit about your acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a movie out right now on Tubi. It's called A Brother's Turmoil. I play a guy whose brother was killed. And so I'm trying to convince my other brother, who is a cop, to forget about the badge and let's go and get revenge for our brother's death. So that's on Tubi right now. I have a show on Tubi called Shift Differential where I play a drug dealer who is and we're in production for the movie of it now.
Oh wow.
The guy that I'm friends with on the show, we end up finding out in the movie that we're related and all these different things happen and a bunch of stuff. I'm also in production for a DC fan-made movie, Birds of Prey, where I play Bronze Tiger, and that's with Ronin Real Productions. We have a movie on YouTube right now called Nightwing Rebirth, and I play Bronze Tiger in that one. I've been doing acting for years. I've been doing a lot of extra work. I've been in Piranha 3DD. I've been on One Tree Hill. I was in this movie called Tackling the Past. Game Time is a Hallmark football movie. I was doing a lot of different things, man. I'm just continuing to keep doing it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. The Game Time on the Hallmark. We had the channel here at the house, so
yeah, it was fun because I played a football player on that, and me and my cousin, and it was like it took us 2 weeks to film our scenes out there, and we did it in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is the beach. So while we were there during the entire week, um, when you're extra, they don't really pay for too much. They give you a check, but you're not getting a room or anything. So we
Yeah.
camped out in our car. I had
Back to the wrestling days
yeah.
again.
We camped out in the Jeep, and then we would get up, and luckily where we were filming at, it was at a school, so they had like a locker room. So we would go and take a shower in the locker room. We'd go hang out at the beach if we didn't have anything to do at the moment. If call time was later, we'd go to the beach and walk around, just chill. Like we had
Mhm.
so much fun and made a lot of money just doing, background stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you had a good career in wrestling and your acting's really doing well. It's good to see people, and it's great to get people on here to hear their stories. And like I said, we connected today, and it's like, well, what are you doing this evening? L- Let's do it.
Yes,
I was available, and getting pretty jammed up. But I mean, I'll take any guest if I can fit them in through the run of a day. Absolutely, I
yep.
love hearing people's stories and just having conversations.
I'm at to see you some more guests, man, some more wrestlers, and
Oh, I'd love that.
yep,
Yeah.
I will connect you with some guys, man, some really good guys that'll give you a good story.
Awesome. All right, man. Take care and let's keep in touch and let's do this again.
Absolutely, thank you so much.